Imagine waking up every morning knowing that your energy is perfectly aligned with your biggest goals, your desires, that instead of forcing manifestation through endless techniques, struggle, effort, hustle, you are effortlessly broadcasting a coherent signal that naturally attracts opportunities to you. People, resources, solutions into your life. And that is exactly what happened when I discovered the brain and heart coherence practice that I'm going to be sharing with you today. Because 3 years ago, my reality was so different to what it is now. I was in 6 figures worth of debt, $157,000 to be exactly. And I was having panic attacks before client meetings. And I was watching my business slowly collapse despite doing all the right manifestation practices, investing in business strategies, marketing strategies, business coaches, you name it. But the turning point came when I attended a Dr. Joe retreat, and he taught a specific heart coherence technique. But it had a critical element that most people completely miss when they try to implement brain and heart coherence. So, Dr. Joe combines his method with HeartMath Institute's research, and it shows that the heart generates an electromagnetic field that is 60 times stronger than the brain. And this creates a broadcasting frequency that directly impacts what you attract in your life. And that is powerful. This is such a game changer because these are the foundations to how we should live life, not just manifestation, but how we should live life. And so I want to share today the exact heart coherence practice that pulled me out of financial disaster and into the life that I couldn't even allow myself to imagine. My imagination couldn't have fathomed it unless it was a download. And after just 21 days of implementing this approach, I manifested my first $10,000 client, in a completely unexpected way. I was literally practicing this heart coherence technique in my car when I got a call that changed everything. So I'm excited to dive into it, but if you are serious about manifestation and want to master the process without the complexity, so you can achieve more while doing less like me and my clients do, then please check out the resources down below in the description. But let's take it all back to the beginning. 3 years ago, I would wake up every morning with a familiar knot in my stomach. You know, the one where your first thought as soon as you wake up is, my God, it's not good morning, but oh shit, how am I going to make it through today? I don't know if you've ever had that, but that was me for about 5 years of my life. $157,000 in debt. Not the good kind of debt where, I own a beautiful mortgage on a beautiful house. The bad kind. Credit cards maxed, business loans from people that I loved and who believed in me, and receiving those lovely daily calls from creditors, collectors, and they somehow know always to call when it's dinner time. And I was that guy who looked successful on Instagram, but was eating ramen noodles 3 times a week. The guy who would smile through client meetings and have a full-blown panic attack right after. The guy who tried every manifestation technique under the sun, vision boards, affirmations, meditation, you name it. I tried it, subliminals. I would wake up at 5 a.m. to meditate, do my gratitude list, visualize abundance, and still at the end of the day, I always wondered why the universe seemed to be sending abundance to everyone but me. Can anyone relate to this? Can you relate to this? That feeling when you are doing all the right things, but the universe seemed to have put your manifestations, on lockdown. But it was this one day, 3 weeks after my business partner left, and I remember just sitting in my car in a Kmart parking lot. I don't know if you guys have Kmart where you live, but yeah, it's like a store. Yeah. And I was staring at my phone thinking, this is it. it's game over. I had exactly $43.27 in my savings account, and rent was due in a week. And that night I was scrolling through my emails, scrolling through my phone, trying to distract and numb myself because I thought this was it. I saw a newsletter about a Dr. Joe Dispenza retreat that was about to open up. And I have been following Dr. Joe for a while. Watched his videos, watched his podcasts, read his books, but I always thought that his work was, I put it in a file under interesting, but yeah, it's too out there for me. I was more of the practical steps kind of guy, you know what I mean? Give me this 10-step plan, not quantum physics, right? But here's the thing about being at the lowest point in your life, the lowest of the lows. It has this beautiful way of making you willing to try absolutely anything. When you've got nothing to lose, suddenly the woo-woo stuff doesn't seem so crazy anymore. So, I used my last bit of credit to buy a ticket. What's another $10,000 when you are already in $150,000 in debt, right? Oh, that was literally my mentality. Oh, God. Now, luckily, Dr. Joe was flying to Australia instead of his usual United States retreats, right? That's where he mostly holds his retreats, the USA or Mexico. And this was a miracle because the retreat was held in the most beautiful hotel near a lake and near a beach. Now, walking in, man, I felt like an imposter, you know what I mean? Everyone seemed so peaceful, everyone was so happy. Meanwhile, I walk in vibrating at the lowest frequency that you could possibly ever imagine. Like, what the heck am I doing here? And as soon as Dr. Joe took to the stage, I expected some, motivational fluff like all these other gurus. Instead, he started dropping bombs. He started dropping bombs that my skeptical brain just stood up, paid attention. And he is funny. Dr. Joe is so funny. And he kept me engaged. He says, your heart generates an electromagnetic field that is 60 times stronger than your brain. This isn't metaphysical. This is measurable science documented by the Heart Math Institute. Okay, 60 times stronger than your brain. And he explained how our hearts actually send more signals to our brains than vice versa. Okay? Our heart sends more signals to the brains than our brain signals to the heart. Wow. And how coherent heart rhythms can synchronize brain activity and normalize your nervous system function. Okay? These are jaggedy lines and these are smooth broadcasting lines. But here's the kicker. The part that changed everything for me, he said, most people try to create their lives from their analytical mind, which is designed for survival, not creation. Wow, damn. They are essentially broadcasting a frequency of lack and limitation. And they wonder why they keep attracting more of the same thing. That was me. I was like, whoa, that is me. That is me, homie. And I felt like he was reading my mind. That's exactly what I've been doing, trying to think my way into abundance, while my entire energetic signature is screaming danger, danger, not enough, survival mode. Okay? There is a discrepancy with my mind and my body. And then came the moment that just changed everything. Dr. Joe let us do this heart coherence practice, and it wasn't just any meditation, but a specific technique designed to create synchronization between the heart and the brain. The practice itself was deceptively simple. Focus your attention on the center of your chest. Breathe slowly and deeply, as if through your heart. You know what I mean? As if you put your awareness here, literally, and generate a genuine feeling of appreciation or gratitude or joy, and hold that elevated emotion while maintaining awareness of your heart. Like you're pressing the button of your heart, like beep, like that. Simple, I thought. But there is no way that this is going to fix my debt, my circumstances. But as I followed along, something unexpected happened. For the first time in months, that knot in my stomach began to unravel. My breathing deepened. Whew. But it was for a brief moment, maybe 30 seconds. I experienced a profound sense of peace that, man, I haven't felt since I was my first girlfriend. Well, my second girlfriend, actually. It wasn't dramatic, no angels singing, no lights flashing, just a quiet moment of pure coherence. Like the scattered parts of me suddenly started to synchronize, and I had this homie's face right here, big smile on my face. And when the practice ended, I opened my eyes and thought, oh, that was different. I didn't know it then, but I had just crossed the threshold between a completely new way of being. Okay? But the retreat was wonderful. Nothing really crazy happened for me. But the next 3 weeks were a crash course in this new practice. I committed to doing heart coherence twice daily, one in the morning, one before I go to bed. Okay? And I was doing his 45-minute meditations. Now the first week, okay, generous present moment to be exactly. The first week was rough. My old friend, the analytical mind, was my biggest enemy in this journey. Right? It was sick. It was interrupting me, saying, "This is stupid. You're wasting your time. You should be sending out emails instead. Nothing is happening. Why are you focusing on your heart?" The old self, the old neural pathways were having a fit. And the biggest test came when my landlord called asking about the rent that I still didn't have. And I felt that familiar panic rising, right? Incoherence. And it was undoing the coherence that I built. All of that heart coherence. But I remembered something Dr. Joe said. The moment you feel yourself slipping back into your old neural hardways, into the stress survival chemicals, okay? This is exactly the moment when this practice matters. Whew. So I got on my bed and started to do the practice. Sorry, I was in my car and I was doing it in the parking lot. Relaxed, focused on my heart, breathing deeply. 5 minutes. And I'm starting to shift. The panic didn't disappear completely, but it subsided enough so that I could think clearly without the, incoherent panic that my analytical mind was sending signal to. So I called my landlord back. I wasn't avoiding him, but I was honest, right? I explained my situation and asked for a 2-week extension. To my shock, he agreed. First test, pass. Now, I also found allies in the journey. I joined an online community of Dr. Joe's students, and I discovered I wasn't alone in my struggles. Their stories, they kept me going, especially when I wanted to quit. But the biggest test was consistency. It's easy to practice when you're feeling good. You know what I mean? Nothing too intense is happening in your life. It's a whole nother game when you are challenged to generate genuine feelings of appreciation when your world is falling apart. That is the real test. But by day 19 of this practice, my 3D reality was still the same. No magical checks coming in the mail, no lottery winnings, no clients beating down my door wanting to work with me. And that morning, I hit a wall. The practice felt mechanical, right? I couldn't generate those feelings like I did before. Started to feel mechanical. And Dr. Joe said that I was going through the motions. That's what I was doing. I was just going through the motions, but my heart wasn't in it. Ironic for a brain and heart practice, right? My heart wasn't in it. I was facing what I now understand as the inmost cave. That moment in any journey where you have to confront your deepest fears and your doubts. The final battle of your old self. Okay? Mine was simple, but it was devastating. what if I'm just broken? Is what this old self was saying. What if this works for everyone else but not for me? Man, it knows how to get you. It's like playing chess with your best opponent, you. Sat in meditation that morning, tears streaming down my face, and I couldn't find a single thing to be grateful for. My business was still failing. My debt was still there. Nothing had changed or had it. And that same day, day 19, I had a sudden realization. While my external circumstances hadn't changed, something fundamentally inside had shifted. I wasn't waking up with that anxiety, that knot that I had before. I was sleeping better. I'd stopped stress eating. Small things, but significant. I stopped smoking weed, and I decided to give the practice one more week. But this time, I made a small adjustment. Instead of focusing on what I wanted to create, manifest, I focused solely on generating and maintaining the feeling of coherence. No agenda, no desperation, just coherence. For coherence sake, right? Just to get myself in that relaxed state. And on day 21, sitting in my chair after another disappointing meeting with a potential client who said no, closed my eyes and began with now familiar heart coherence practice. Every time I stress, I just sit down and relax, right? 5 minutes into this practice, my phone rang. Normally, I don't answer calls during meditation, but something told me to answer this one. And it was an old friend I hadn't spoken to in over a year. Hey, she said, I don't know if you're still taking on new clients, but I just recommended you to my CEO for sales and marketing. They need someone ASAP, and they have a $10,000 budget. Would you be interested? I'm like, Sorry? I nearly dropped my phone. $10,000. That's the exact amount I need to cover my rent, pay off my debt payments, my minimum debt payments, buy myself some breathing room for at least a couple of weeks or months. And that $10,000 project turned into a 6-month contract. Because the client loved my work, they referred me to 2 other companies. Within 3 months, I had generated enough income to make an okay dent in my debt, let's just say that, but it gave me a glimmer of hope. Okay, I had that breathing room once again. Why? Because I was relaxed in my heart, and then I magnetized the exact state of being that I was broadcasting back to me. But the real reward wasn't in the money. No, it was the profound shift in how I operated in this world. It was effortless. I wasn't exuding much effort anymore. I wasn't forcing anything, but instead I was broadcasting. Okay? Before, I was broadcasting a frequency of lack, worry, desperation, struggle. Even while reciting positive affirmations, my words would say I'm abundant, but my energetic signature would be screaming scarcity. You're a liar. Lack. Now I understood that manifestation isn't about what you think or say. It's about the coherent energy that you are broadcasting consistently on a moment-to-moment basis. Whoa. The Heart Math Institute's research confirms this. When your heart and brain are in coherence, they love one another. It literally changes your electromagnetic field. And so the universe's energy is vibrating at different frequencies, and you start resonating with that and attracting different possibilities to you. This is quantum physics, not magic, though honestly, the results can feel quite magical. But then I faced a new challenge, maintaining this state, especially when crisis is happening, right? It's human nature to just abandon the very thing that helps us once the pressure is off. Okay? We get too comfortable. We get too relaxed. But I noticed myself meditating less frequently, skipping days, because life was good, right? I was skipping days, I was meditating less, letting the practice become mechanical once again. I was in my mind more. Guess what happened? Haha. These old patterns, old neural pathways started to creep back in, right? The anxiety, the lack mindset, all these lies that it was whispering to me, the feeling of never having enough. That's when I realized this wasn't just a technique. No, this isn't just a technique to use in emergencies, but it is a way of living. The only way to live. And the mistake I made was going back to my old ways and returning back to the old me. No. It's about becoming this practice. Becoming this practice. Okay? Bring this new way of being into every aspect of my life, because your heart is the most powerful manifestation tool. I recommend this practice, but with a deeper... I recommitted to this practice, but with a deeper understanding. Heart coherence wasn't just something I did. It was something that I embodied. Fast forward to today, that $157,000 debt, gone. The panic attacks, I don't even remember them. I literally was having a conversation with my friends on the weekend. I don't remember having anxiety anymore, okay? And my business, I couldn't have even imagined that it's got to where it is now. But here's what I want you to understand. This transformation didn't happen because I got luckier, or because the universe randomly decided to start favoring me, or possibly, you know what I mean? But it happened because I fundamentally changed my energetic signature through consistent brain-heart coherence. Yeah, and science backs this up. Repeated coherence practice literally rewires neural pathways, neural networks, and it creates your new default state. Erase the old me, and you have now just created a new default state at a neurological level, mind, body, and soul. And that is what I call embodiment. When you no longer need to try to manifest things because you've become the frequency that naturally attracts them. It's like the difference between holding a magnet, okay? You're holding a magnet versus becoming the magnet. One requires constant effort. The other is simply just your nature. You are it. You are broadcasting it. The lesson is understanding that your heart is the most powerful manifestation tool that you possess, right? When we are born, it's the heart first that is generated. Not your thoughts, not your vision boards, not your affirmations, but your beautiful heart. When you learn to generate and maintain coherent heart rhythms, you change your electromagnetic field, which changes what you attract in your life. And your heart knows exactly what is the best things to attract. But here's what most people miss. And this is what I missed at the beginning. Consistency matters more than duration. 5 minutes twice daily for 21 days will create more lasting change than 3 one-hour sessions once a week. The key is to keep going, especially when it seems like nothing is happening. Because beneath the surface, that is when everything is happening. Everything is happening. But it's your turn now. Are you ready to stop chasing manifestation and start becoming magnetic? Because the practice is simple, but the results, they are profound. And your heart, your powerful electromagnetic quantum field influencing heart, has been waiting for you to discover its potential all along.